So this is our dinner or supper, I guess, for July 6, 2018. And ours is pretty much the same, only mine's raw vegan and James's is not. So I will show you the difference. He has avocado, I do not, because of the saturated fat content. I can't deal with that right now. So he has avocado, and then there is some lime zest you can see there, and the difference is the cooked Romano beans, and they're from a can, and you can see white lining. Anyway, and he has what do you call it? Barbecued corn. So it's been cooked with the barbecue, and so it's kind of blackened. But mine is raw. So the rest of the ingredients in his are the same as mine, so you can see them. The cherry tomatoes, corn, orange bell peppers, red onions, and we each have 2 cups of Brussels sprouts sliced up here. And what I've done is I took sprouted lentils, which were very sprouted, they had leaves on them, and I minced them up in the food processor, and so they were like really ground up. And then I mixed that up with some of my homemade chili powder that I made earlier, that I used the juice for, some of the juice for the yards for the cats already. So that's my homemade chili powder in there from the pulp from the juice, and it's still plenty hot enough, and some cumin, and then we have cilantro and pumpkin seeds. So what I did is I took this stuff and I crumbled it up on some parchment paper and stuck it in my oven with no heat on, but I have a gas oven, so it's the Pilot Light provides heat enough to dry it out, and I just dried it till, see, it has like some give to it, but it's not totally crunchy, but it should be good, because I figured, if I had one of those fancy Excalibur dehydrators, I would love to make stuff like that with it, but my oven without any heat on works out pretty fine too. So I just had that on during the day. I had that in the pan, and it worked out pretty good. So it feels good. We'll see how it tastes. I don't know. And I brought some extra virgin olive oil out for James, just in case he wants some for his salad. And we have, I have my plate of garlic there, and we have pineapple for dessert. So I'm sorry, I don't look very tidy or anything today. I've been out walking a lot. Well, I can show you. I'll try to show you with my watch. Oh, can you see? That's my number of steps. 16594 today. And I got a decent amount of sleep. It was 7 and some hours. I was busy last night reading because this book came in from the library. I'd had it on an interlibrary loan. I borrowed it that way, and it's a little bit damaged. It's kind of binding's a little loose, and it has some, but that's all right. It was I was excited to get it out anyway, and so right when I brought it home, I packed it home, and then I laid out here on the deck, and I just started reading, and I got that far. So that's what I was doing last night. I was reading a lot and making loads of notes. So let's see if I can look up choline here, because I wanted to talk about that a bit. This was terrible. I borrowed it from the library because I don't know what it's about, right? And So I put it on hold, and I was like, is this a joke, or is this, like, it's Dove approved. So there you go. Not approved by Pauline. Oh boy, oh boy. James said, I wonder if he's a youth pastor. And yeah, I think he probably was a youth pastor, but not a good one. Because I can't imagine any youth wanting to watch this. This was terrible. What do you have to say about it?
I can tell that type. He's the type of guy that in the shower room would be snapping guys with his towel, right? No, he's just that type. And thinking it's funny, too.
Now, what was I looking up? Was it chromium? Anyway, you can go ahead and try it and see if it's good. I brought you out the olive oil if you want to pour that on there.
Yeah.
But you might find it's buttery enough just with the avocado. It's good looking avocado.
Yeah.
What is wrong? Why am I not finding this? Oh, I was looking up choline. 744. This is great. I think James will enjoy it as much as I do. So, we have 2 cups of Brussels sprouts each in our salads. And these are huge salads. And we get 63.5 milligrams of chromium per cup. And
You mean choline, not chromium.
I mean choline. I'm very tired. I'm sorry. I've been very busy today. So 63.5 milligrams of choline per cup, and I need 425 milligrams of choline per day. And James needs 550 milligrams of choline per day. So if you're thinking about going vegan, raw vegan for the summer, keep that in mind. I mean, I really wouldn't want to put more than 2 cups in a salad that size, you know, I want these other ingredients too, right? You don't want to only be eating your specific whatever. And I mean, my beans presumably would have some. I'd have to look up lentils. But, and you're eating Romano beans, which aren't listed here, but pinto beans are listed. So maybe he's getting 60 milligrams.
Well, there's lots of beans in this thing, right? Navy beans, pinto beans, kidney beans.
Well, navy beans are good. They're 81.5 milligrams
well,
per.
still,
that's not that bad.
Pinto beans is pretty good. That's 60.
Yeah.
Green peas are. You see how these.
Okay, so I can assume I have more choline from my lentils.
Tofu comes from a bean, right?
Yes. And tofu's actually pretty good, but not as good as the pintos and not as good as the navies. The navy beans are really good. So I bought some navy beans today so I can eat those.
Yeah, avocados aren't that bad.
Well,
lots of nuts in there.
Yeah, I guess you got another 20.6 from your avocado.
Sure. That's one
so if you're adding it up, you can know how much choline. Because you ate, did you have 1 egg today? And that was 110.4 milligrams. So if you're adding it up along the way, you can kind of see.
It looks as though there's a lot of fish. Sea products here.
Yeah.
That are pretty high. 4 ounce weight. Well, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot. So if you eat just a little bit of shrimp and a little bit of cod, you're going to get quite a lot. And you eat those things. So, not that often.
Cod, not so much. But salmon, I could make arrange to eat.
Yeah, you eat quite a bit of that.
4 ounce weight. How many ounces are there in a pound? 16 ounces? That's a quarter of a pound, I think.
I don't know. We'll look on a can of salmon and see. I'm
There
sure
we go.
it says.
There we go. I mean, of course. So if you see, I have much less of a problem than you do.
I know. But what I'm saying is if you're wanting to go raw vegan, well, I mean, this is raw vegan, so I guess I'm probably getting some. I'll look up lentils to see. I wonder if they're in alphabet. I better just look it up in the index. But they wouldn't be a best source because they're not listed on there.
Yeah, cabbage is pretty low, but a whole lot of cabbage.
Boy, it's hot. It's hard to think when it's so hot.
Milk has a fair amount. You'd have to drink 10 glasses of milk to get to full
Lentils.
dose from just milk.
Just lentil. $5.92, $5.93. Oh, I passed it. There we go. It doesn't even list it. So I don't know. It's not that good for it. Anyway. So, as you can see, I'm totally lacking in the choline department for this meal. And if I really, really wanted to make sure I go raw vegan for the summer and get enough choline, I would have to pull out the juicer. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Because, like, these 2 cups of Brussels sprouts, well, they make hardly any juice. Well, you saw me, if you watched my videos from last summer, you saw I had pictures of my sink full of things like kale or whatever, right? And it's really what you gotta do. Like, I could juice Brussels sprouts and drink quite a lot of juice. So I could get my choline from drinking Brussels sprout juice. But eating the Brussels sprouts like this, I couldn't. I couldn't possibly. I would have to eat nothing but Brussels sprouts all day. I thought there was a fly there. Anyway, but there's other things that I could eat here. Broccoli gives me about the same amount. Cauliflower's pretty good. Asparagus is pretty good. Spinach. So if I was juicing for my choline source, I could do it and be raw vegan. But if I'm just eating fun foods and not paying attention to how much choline I'm taking in, I would be short, very short. So, I'm not saying that I don't think I should eat stuff like that. I should totally eat this. I mean, it's great to have all of these nutrients and all of this fiber, you know, so I think it's good to get a lot of vegetable fiber in the diet. It's just I need to supplement with the juice if I want to do raw vegan. So another thing I was wanting to talk about, and my notes are not very well organized. I was talking about BPA. Let's see. I don't know if she's mentioned it in a couple times. Well, it's from this book anyway, so maybe I can find it in the index. She did a great job writing this book. There's a lot of entries for this, so I don't know if I'm going to find it.
That's from Claire's on it too, though.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff comes. I know.
Too.
If you want to move to a small town with a good library.
I don't think they've got 5,000 people there.
So many of the
Lethbridge
things that
might
I
have
put on
20
hold come from
times
there.
as many people now. Our library is, well, I would say,
Well, right now it's under renovation. 47 to 150 maybe there. Okay, so it's in the lining for cans used for soups, beans, tomatoes, tuna, sardines, among hundreds of other foods. So the BPA, the nightmare molecule lurking in our beans. And so, if you consider that, when you look at James's salad, which is not raw vegan, it's just vegan. Lining, BPA. The can says all natural packed in spring water and sea salt, EDTA free. I don't know what EDTA is, but that white can lining, this has got to be full of BPA, which is now throughout his beans. So, I mean, we eat so much BPA and we don't even realize it, but today you're eating BPA. So my lentil stuff, we'll see. It might not be good. It tastes fine. But it's BPA free because I sprouted my lentils myself and I made it a little bit spicy and dehydrated them in my oven with no heat on. So you're probably thinking, well, why go to the work of going raw vegan if you're worried about choline and stuff and whatever for the summer? Well, there's that BPA thing. And if you decide, okay, well, I don't have to open a can of beans, I can just cook my own beans. Well, unless you cooked beans and canned them yourself in jars over the winter, you're going to heat up your house every time you cook some beans for a salad like this. And how hot's the house right now? About 30 degrees inside?
It's going to be 30 before the day's through.
Yeah.
It's kind of lucky it clouded over. But last time I checked, it was 28, and that was a little while ago. So I'd be surprised if it weren't 29 right now.
So for people who don't have a lot of money and are living in a house, I put a lot of that on my lentils. That's very spicy. So for people who don't have air conditioning and a very hot house for the summer in southern Alberta, raw vegan makes sense. Unless you like barbecuing outside.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. And it's also because people like meat. I gotta tell you, if you leave the barbecue sauce out, you gotta eat meat. You might as well burn it, jar it all up so you don't know where it came from.
Well, I mean, you can barbecue tofu or tempeh if you want to.
Or corn. So there are ways of getting around it. Eating the ants. Come on, buddy. He didn't like the mint. She didn't like the mint. There's some mint in here, right?
No.
That's
there's
cilantro. She didn't like the cilantro. Found it pretty quickly, though. Here comes another one. Almost like the other one. Amazing. I just missed it. I think it was zeroing in though because of the smoker.
Yeah, this sprouted lentil crumble, it's pretty good. Totally raw vegan. So just mince it up, and you can put whatever spices you want with it, depending on what you want to use it for. And yeah, and then you have a good protein source to add to your meal.
Okay.
You okay? So actually, I would recommend that everybody read this book, The World's Healthiest Foods by George Madeljan. I got water all over my chin. Especially if you're going to try going raw vegan for the summer, because you want to know what exactly your needs are and how you're going to meet them, right? So really you have to determine how much juicing you're going to do, because you're gonna be able to meet your needs, your protein needs, easily, but some of the other things you might have a little more difficulty with, right? And that's going to determine how much you juice. That's bad. Ugh. I put too much hot pepper on it for
It's
you.
hot.
Yeah, I know. I put too much of mine too. It's just hot stuff. All it is the pulp from that stuff, eh?
I know.
I dried it out in the oven and browned it up. Worked out really well.